everybody. I certainly miss all of you who have been coming to our Sunday school classes for such a long time. And I certainly look forward to when we can do that again and share our time together and learn more about our God and how He plays such an important role in our lives and all the gifts and blessings that He brings to us. And since March, our lives have really changed. It's really different the way we are living our lives now, very challenging. And I bet sometimes it's a little uncomfortable and a little scary. But there's someone in our lives who can help us with all of those uncomfortable fears. And so today's lesson is a lesson taken from the book of Mark, which is in our Bible in the New Testament part of it. And it involves the 4 disciples, Peter, James, Andrew, and John, that Jesus had chosen to travel with Him all over the lands where He was teaching people for the first time. They had heard about God. And they had been traveling, and it was getting late in the day, and Jesus tried so hard to just kind of keep walking and hoping that the people would be tired, but they wanted to touch Him, and they wanted to hear Him talk. And He was so exhausted. Finally, He turned to His disciples and said, let's get in the sailboat and let's go across the Sea of Galilee to the other side, and maybe I can get some rest. And He said, okay. So they very carefully get Jesus in the boat. They get themselves in, and the sea is so beautiful. It's like glass. There's no real waves. There's this gentle breeze, and they put up their sail, and off they go into the middle of the Galilee Sea. Well, Jesus was so exhausted, by the time they even got a little way out into the middle of this big sea, He was in the back, and He was sleeping so soundly that He didn't even hear when all of a sudden the wind started blowing a little bit harder and a little bit louder, and then all of a sudden the apostles realized that, wait a minute, we've got a storm here. And the next thing they know, the wind is so strong, the sea waves have whipped up, and they've whipped up to be bigger than their little boat. And it was going into their boat and filling up their boat, and they were afraid. They were afraid they were going to drown, even though they were trying to get the water out. It came in much too fast, and they couldn't do that. So one of them said, oh, let's go wake up Jesus. So he goes back and he wakes up Jesus, and he asks him, he says, Jesus, wake up. We're going to drown. We're in a terrible storm. Do you not hear it? Do you not feel it? Well, Jesus just calmly looked at him, calmly got up, and he calmly walked to the middle, or maybe the end of the little boat, and he simply raised up his arms, and he looked out at this storm, and he said, peace, be still. And within moments, the wind began to die down, and it was just a gentle breeze. And the waves quit being so big, and they became smaller and smaller until all of a sudden, it was just like they began, a perfect, calm sea. And Jesus then looked at His apostles and said, did you not trust me? And they looked at Him and they said, Jesus, how could you do that? Well, we know how Jesus could do that because He's God's Son. And as God's Son, He can do anything. So at the end of our lesson, we have learned that we have someone in our lives that we can trust all the time. And all we have to do is remember that, and remember that God and Jesus are always with us. So right now I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes like we do in class, and we're going to say this very little prayer. You ready? Jesus, we give you our fears. Thank you for calming us and caring for us always. Amen. And now, open your eyes, and we're going to say the Lord's Prayer, that Pastor Louise usually says with you on Sunday mornings during Children's Circle. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. And so now I would like to wish all of you a great week, a happy week, a confident week, knowing that, as the song in the background is saying, tis so sweet to trust in Jesus. You have a great day.